Good morning, everybody. Welcome on in. It is Saturday, April 4th. I do not have time for a very long stream today because April 5th, excuse me. I do not have time for a super long stream today because I'm going downtown to be part of the ride for Zach Manago. The Zach Manago Memorial Ride is an event Hawaii Bicycling League puts on every year to commemorate the tragic and early death of Zach Manago because a careless motorist killed him. It is something we all in the cycling community try to rally around to push advocacy for cycling, which if you want to fix high fuel prices, you want to fix the cost of living, and you want to fix the obesity crisis, there's no better fucking way to do it than with cycling. I'm not going to go on my cycling rant. I don't have time for that today. But we've got a little request. Dear Bull Muscle, thank you very much for the fitness plan that you sent me the other day. The other week. Not the fitness plan, sorry, getting ahead of myself. Thank you very much for the diet plan you sent me the other week. I still want a fitness plan. Can you write something up for me? And I asked him, a couple basic questions. How many days per week did you want to do it? How much time per workout did you want to have? That sort of thing. And then any injuries that I ought to take note of. And he said, 2 to 3 times per week, depends on the day, maybe an hour or two. He works 8 to 5, can't leave his house due to childcare in the morning, so he needs to be back at his house by 7, which means he's going to have kind of that 5 to 7 work frame that a lot of people have. So, okay. And thankfully, even after a lot of football and wrestling, the Midwest farm boy right here, no injuries to speak of. That's a good thing. Definitely a very good thing. Now, I know obviously you've got a couple other conditions due to your weight. Your heart has had a few medical issues, but since we last talked, since I gave you my consultation for your diet, you have stuck to it. You've been writing shit down. You've been posting your macros in my Discord channel. Link is, all you gotta do is type Discord and chat. And your progress has been phenomenal, nothing short of phenomenal. You've been going for about 3 months now, and you're down over 35 pounds, okay? My estimate for you is that it was gonna be about 50 pounds a year. Right now, you are crushing that, dude. So I am very, very proud of you. You're doing everything I told you to, which, you mean to tell me if I follow what Bull Muscle tells me to do, I'm gonna lose weight and get jacked? No way! It's almost like I practice what I preach. Crazy. I guess I'm in a rare form this morning. I'm kind of ranty. Anywho. Spill a little bit. That's fine. Going protein shake, you'll notice, instead of my normal protes this morning because I need to cut calories. I've got Mr. Supranational coming up in May, and I've got Tacoma Fashion Week in Seattle, in Tacoma. Seattle Fashion Week is what it's called. Sorry. Seattle Fashion Week in Tacoma in a couple weeks. Anywho, let's dive right in. First off, couple basic generic notes. This marker's gone dry. Okay, guess we're going with red. Fitting. 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days is going to put a natural ceiling on how far you can really go with this workout plan. It's just not enough frequency to get your gains maximized. Now, what it sounds like is you just want to be in decent shape. You want to be in passable shape, so you don't really need to do more than that. This is sort of the other main thing I really want when I'm doing these consultations. I ask you guys follow-up questions. Give me an idea of what you want to look like. Right? If you want to look jacked, if you want to look like me, you're going to have to put in effort like me. If you just want to look in shape, if you want to kick the ass of 99%, or at least 95% of the US population, 2 to 3 days is more than enough. So, I'm not a huge fan of 2-day-a-week workout plans, unless you're doing something extremely intense like super squats, which with your heart, probably a bad idea. You're not looking to put on, plus you're in a cut cycle too, so absolutely do not recommend super squats for you at this stage. To really get something effective for a 2-day-a-week program, I'm not a huge fan of upper lower. That means you're working everything once a week. I would recommend a full body. if you're going to work everything once a week, that's what I would recommend for you. Since you're looking at, functional fitness, I would say 3 days a week plus a full body workout. That's long. That's going to be a 2-hour workout if you really do want to hit everything. 3 days a week, and I'm going to give you a push pull leg. Okay, so I'm going to keep it. I do a push pull leg, but I go 5 days a week. This is a simplified, toned down version with a little bit less volume because you don't need as much volume as I do. I am going to push you. It's still going to be volume almost to what I do because you're doing it only 3 days a week instead of 4, 5, or 6. Anyway, let's dive into it. So we're going to give you push. All right. I've already written it down in my notebook. So we're going to have bench press, 3 to 6, 3 by 6 to 12, okay? This is your bone standard. Now you can alternate this with a chest press machine, a hammer strength press machine, or dumbbell bench press. If a basic chest pec dominated push exercise, I recommend bench press because I think it's the best. You can go look at my push tier ranking videos for more. All right. And I'm going to give you a fair amount, okay, on your bench press, on your pecs. 3 by 6 to 12 for bench. That's going to be more power oriented. So probably 6 to 8 really. Incline 8 to 15. So kind of a mix. And then chest flies, you can do them with dumbbells, the pec deck machine, cables, whatever your gym has. And right, if you're working at 5 in the evening, you're probably going to have to be a little bit more flexible on what machines are open if you want to get through your workout at a reasonable clip. So 3 by 15 to 20. That's a lot on your chest, but your pecs are a big muscle. And if you want to not look like you have man boobs, it's a really good idea to work your pecs a lot. Ladies notice the pecs. Guys too. There, all right. Now, other exercises we're gonna do. Close bench press, we're gonna do either close bench press or skull crushers for 6 to 12, okay, 3 sets again. And then triceps, any machine you like for 15 to 20. This can be, not machine, any exercise you like. This can be overhead extensions, either with cable or dumbbells. This can be dips. This can be assisted dips. This can be kickbacks, although I don't think those are great. Single triceps extensions, reverse extensions. Get creative, whatever you've got. I have a list of a bunch of different exercises on my tier list ranking video. And then we're going to talk shoulders. See here. And shoulder press, okay? You can either do it with a barbell, you can do it with a dumbbell. The reason I'm not specifying this the way I do in my workout is because given the time of day, you're gonna have to be flexible as to what's open. So you can do shoulder press, you can do an Arnold press, which is the version with the twist, barbell shoulder press, behind the neck press, cloak off press, vary it up. Then upright rows. Upright rows are a pretty good variant, right? They're gonna work front delts just in a different manner. And then shoulder flies, that's just an old habit of mine. They're really front and side raises, but that doesn't sound, to me, it doesn't make sense in my brain, so I'm just weird. You can do, I recommend at least doing one side and one front, or go lighter weight and do 2 sets of that, right? So 1, 2. That'll work both top delt and front delt. Rear delt, I save for pull days. So here you go. This is your push day. 2, 3. All right. You can pause the video at that point. So now we're gonna run through pull. And again, I hate to make this a short video today, but I have to get down to town. I've got like 10 more minutes on this and then we got to roll. So that's just fine. Honestly, my consultation videos seem to go on longer than they should. All right, so here, pull. Okay. Go. Let's see. There we go. There we go. All right, pull day. So you're gonna either do pull-ups, which is vertically dominated, or rows, which is horizontally dominated. 4 sets, 6 to 12, that'll be power. Then you can do pull downs or your row variant. So a pull up, if you gotta do assisted pull-ups, that's okay. Work to being able to do full body weight pull-ups. As you continue to lose weight, that will get easier, but you should absolutely strive to be able to do a full body weight unassisted pull-up. If you are an adult man, frankly, if you're an adult woman, you should be able to do that. That I think is being able to do one pull-up, I believe is that's the bare minimum. You should really be able to do a pull-up unassisted. It's a pull-up. It's not, I'm not asking for you to move mountains. I think a couple basics, be able to bench your body weight, be able to do a pull-up, be able to do 20 push-ups, be able to run a mile in under 10 minutes, be able to squat your body weight, and be able to deadlift your body weight. I think those are all very reasonable goals. Adaptable pull-ups for people with disability or so. Yeah, okay. Obviously, if you are disabled, there are going to have to be exceptions to be made, but I'm very obviously not talking about that. Please don't well actually me on that. Anyway, so you do a row and then a row variant. So row or pull down variant. So this could be a cable single arm. This could be a cable pull, machine pull down. Get creative. And then row variants could be a chest supported row, a seal row. Seal rows are fantastic if you can find the equipment for it. An incline row if you can't. A low row, maybe bent over lateral raises. There's lots of other row variants, things that work your lat muscles. Then shrugs, 4 sets, 10 to 15. You can do a barbell, can do a dumbbell, can do a cables, pretty simple. Curls, this does include wrist curls, but 3 variations, 3 sets per variation, so it's 9 total sets, okay? And then vary your reps. Maybe if you're doing 3 sets, make one kind of the 6 to 8 rep range, one maybe the 10 to 12 rep range, and one maybe the 15 rep range, okay? You can do cable Bayesian curls, you do incline curls, conventional curls, hammer curls, reverse curls, barbell curls, easy bar curls, concentration curls. I sound like Bubba from Forrest Gump. Wrist curls, you can get creative. Again, pick which curls. Because you're going at 5 p.m., I'm giving you a lot of flexibility so you can pick what exercises are available so you can get through it at a reasonable time frame. And then 3 rear delt exercises. This can be the reverse pec deck. This can be the face pull. This can be, incline raises. There's lots of good rear delt exercises. Okay, cookie cutter standards. Right, okay. When I say cookie cutter standards, right, high energy ape, remember, these are just kind of bare basics for most people who want to be in decent shape. I'm not saying, first off, if you're a genuine athlete, any of those standards I just listed, like squatting your own body weight, should be very easy to hit. You should be blowing past those. But in general, yes, for basic functional day-to-day fitness, I think being able to squat your own body weight at least one rep, I think that's a very reasonable expectation. I would say that is a decent standard. BR Supreme Constitution saying you can move mountains. Good for you, man. I'm not saying everyone needs to, but kudos to you for being able to do so. Okay. Oh, and then one other thing. I didn't say this on my push workout, but I do mean this for every workout. Abs. 6 sets every workout. Do 3 sets at the really heavy 6 to 10 rep range, and then 3 sets at the 15 to 20 to 25 rep range, a little bit more endurance. So things like cable curls, things like dumbbell sit-ups, things like decline sit-ups. Again, I've got a tier list of basically everything. Just go look at my tier list videos if you really want examples for every single thing. You're a smart guy, you can figure that out. Now let's talk about your leg day. All right. This is the rare time where I'm going to advise not to do squats every leg day, which just breaks my heart, because squat is the best exercise in the gym, bar none, period. I don't want to fucking hear it. Squats are the best exercise in the gym. I'm not taking arguments on this one. The squat done properly is truly a full body exercise. An athlete who uses a wheelchair for triathlon, right? Okay. Again, a triathlete is a very, very, very specialized athletic build. Yes. A triathlete is likely not going to be able to, squat a pencil, as you said. But that is a very, right, what percentage of people are triathletes? I'm talking for normal people here, right? If you're a triathlete, this doesn't apply to you because you are aiming for an entirely different set of fitness standards. If you're a triathlete, right, remember that whole, you should be able to run a mile in 10 minutes thing? If you're a triathlete, you should be blowing the fuck by that, right? So that one, again, or if you're a competitive swimmer, you're gonna want to vary these, but I'm just saying for generic, just normal people, okay? I'm not saying for competitive athletes. If you're a competitive athlete, those standards that I listed don't really apply to you, okay? I think common sense should tell you that much. Anyway. 4 times. First off, leg day. You are either going to squat or you are going to do deadlifts, okay? You're going to do 4 sets, 6 to 15 reps. So you can start high and work to lower reps. You can start low and work to higher reps, kind of your choice. But that's what you're going to do as a start. Then you're going to do or you can do, then you're going to do a variant. So this could be front squats. This could be ass to grass squats. And no, okay, ass to grass is not the only acceptable version of a squat. I think parallel is a perfectly reasonable thing for most people. We're not talking about unique athletic builds here, okay? These people, right? This is a 2 to 3 a day workout plan. I'm not fucking trying to train an Olympian here. A good variation, right? You could do Jefferson deadlifts. You could do deficit deadlifts. You could do block deadlifts if you really wanted to. Not a huge fan of those. Same with rack pulls, but you could do, I guess, power cleans. If you really wanted to be creative with what you would call a deadlift variant. Technically it is, because a power clean includes a deadlift, but 6 to 15. So, you could also do, if you wanted to just do 4x6 on squat and then 4x15 on your variant, 4x15 front squats, you could do that. Or 4x15 paused squats. Oh, that would be difficult. Or 4 to 15 partials. If you really, let's say you've got a sticking point coming about maybe a third of the way up, that's a really good answer. Okay. What else we got? And then Okay, rest this, okay? Calves, 4 by 15 to 20. Your calves will get worked by doing squats, deadlifts, all your other stuff, but it does pay to actually focus on them just for a few sets. And the nice thing with calf exercises is you can bang them out pretty quick. Leg press. I love to pair leg press and calves up with a superset, especially if it's that nice 45-degree leg press where you're pushing the weight not just forward but also up. Love that version of the leg press. The horizontal leg press or cable leg press, not my favorite. But if that's the case, if you've got that as an option, you can superset. Very easy way to speed up your workout. Because again, I know you're a busy man, you got shit to do. Leg press or leg extensions, and that should be not a C, that's a leg curl. There we go. Leg curls, 3 by 10 to 15. Pretty simple, kind of isolates. Leg extensions gonna isolate more for your quads. Leg curls gonna isolate more for your hamstrings. And then lunges or split squats, 2 sets of those. You can include Bulgarians if you hate yourself. I recommend it. You can do front squats, right? Other, I forgot to mention Romanians as a deadlift variant, or good mornings as a variant. You can think about it, right? This is a pretty good one for your squats. Don't fucking pussy out on what weight you're doing here. The intensity on this especially needs to be high, okay? If you're only doing this once a week, you need to be busting ass for these 4 sets. You need to be breathing deep and breathing heavy in between each fucking rep, okay? Do not sell yourself short on this, okay? If you want to see progress, it's already going to be hard enough since you only said you have 2 to 3 days to work with. You've got to bust ass these 4 sets, okay? Really, really do mean that. Not to mention, okay, when you're doing these squats and deadlifts, most important fucking thing, this is why I say a squat properly done is a full body exercise. And for this, I have to take off my shirt. Not that the audience minds, but okay. Right? Squat properly done, your core should be engaged. Good squat, especially you're fairly tall, dude. I would consider learning how to low bar squat, okay? Difference between a low bar squat and a high bar squat is as follows. A high bar squat, right, bar is gonna be just about on your traps. A low bar squat, you make a shelf with your scapulae, and instead of gripping the bar like this, you're gonna put the meats of your palms pressing the bar into that shelf, okay? By doing that, what you're doing is you're taking the center of gravity from about here back to about there. And it may not seem like a lot of a difference, but if you're tall, what that's gonna do is take a little bit more pressure off your knees and put it more to dominate your posterior chain. So a high bar squat will work your quads more, a low bar squat will work your glutes and your hamstrings more. I'm a fan of low bar squat, but just because you do low bar squat doesn't mean you should never do high bar squat. And the converse, I'm a huge fan of knowing how to do both. It's a good variant, right? You could also, I would say don't bother making that your second variant, but you could if you wanted to. But especially with a low bar squat, because that weight's further loaded on your back, you have to keep your abs tight. If you don't, right, come down here. If your abs are not tight at this point, you're gonna round your back, and that's a one-way ticket to injury city. You don't wanna do that. But if your abs stay tight, your back's gonna stay tight, right? Every muscle in your body more or less has a counterpart, right? Your biceps do the pulling, your triceps do the pushing, right? Your chest pecs do the pushing, your lats do the pulling. Your legs, right? Your quadriceps do the extensions, your hamstrings do the curls, okay? When you're squatting, right, your abs and your lower back muscles work in tandem. So if you're working your abs, you're gonna help your lower back. So if you're scared about a back injury because of, something that may have happened in the past with squats or some video you watched, engage your core. And there is nothing wrong with taking a few deep breaths and then taking that final breath right before you go down for a rep and bracing your core at the top, keeping it braced through the rep. In fact, that's something I recommend. It's a really good strategy to ensure your back stays straight and your abs stay engaged. If you want a six-pack, you got to work in the diet for it, of course, but The best way to train it in the gym is squats, okay? I really, really, really believe in that. Squats are, look, I don't like doing squats. Nobody likes doing squats, but there's a reason when I have tier ranked exercises, squats are S tier. If I could only put one exercise in S tier, if I could only do one exercise for the rest of my life, it would be squats. That's how useful I think they are. And I am a recovering bench bro. My PRs, all-time PRs, bench is probably my most impressive one. It's 365 for a 1 rep max. My max squat, I hit 445. I personally think a 365 bench is way more impressive. And my max deadlift, if you were wondering, is 500. I'm never going to do that again. I nearly fucking blacked out at the top of that. I did 405 for 10 a couple weeks ago, and that also made me nearly black out. But the point remains here. This is generally what you need to look at. Okay? Crude, childish, flirty jokes. BR Supreme Constitution is nothing I haven't seen before. A lot of people have been really rather rudely blowing up my Instagram and blowing up my DMs with stuff like that. And, you know, that's fine. If you want to make them, post a comment, okay? Don't, like, if you want to make jokes like that, I think they're funny. I'm totally cool with them. But what I don't want everyone doing is having hundreds of people blowing up my DMs. That shit pisses me off because it means that person who's doing that hasn't considered, maybe Bull Muscle gets a lot of these in his inbox, and it clutters up other really important messages. For instance, you know, for modeling opportunities or for competition opportunities, like Mr. Supranational. You know, if you really want to speak to me in private, first off, if you want to speak to me off hours, off stream, check out my Discord. I am very active there. I try to keep it as a community that's very accessible to me. Second off, if you want to get advice or get a fitness plan like this for yourself, askbullmuscle@gmail.com. I do charge a small fee, so to speak. The reason I do this is because if I give you the advice for free, you and I both know you won't fucking follow it, okay? I require you to either pay me $10 or you can plug my shit on your social media because I refuse to run ads on this channel, okay? The reason I refuse to run ads on this channel is because, no, I think, you know what? There are plenty of other communities, there are plenty of other fitness streamers that do that already. I want this to be a place where you don't have to be bombarded by fucking commercialism. Your inbox and DMs have got to be a landmine-ridden nightmare with all the thirsting people do. Yeah, some people have no social filter. I've gotten like unsolicited butthole pictures and unsolicited pussy pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, I get some of you are terminally online, but that's not appropriate. Like you're not supposed to do that to someone you don't know who has no connection to you, okay? I'm not some fucking horn dog, right? I have my urges, but I control them. You should too. All right? Anyway, High Energy Ape, thank you for some good conversations there. Jamie M, yep, this was a quickie, or at least as quick as I can make it. That is all I've got for y'all today. I'll be live again with the normal 9 a.m. Pokemon stream tomorrow. Next week, I have a big decision. For those of you who were unaware, the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, is looking at making cuts, and my employer is reopening the deferred resignation program. I'm currently thinking about what I'm going to do, whether or not I will take it. If I do take it, you can expect more YouTube content and a little bit heavier pushing to try and build my channel a little bit. So if you want to weigh in on that, whether or not I should do that, would love to hear y'all's opinions. I've heard it from a lot of the people who seem to actually care, which is, I'm to the bottom of my heart, I'm thankful. But yeah, that's really all I got for y'all today. I will see y'all tomorrow or on the Discord later today. By the way, if you're wondering what I hit today, the answer was traps, biceps, ooh, look at that pump, and lats. Yes, sir. All right, that's gonna be it for me on this one. Cheers, y'all have a great day. I'm going to go down to the Zach Monago ride in downtown Honolulu, so if you live in Honolulu and you wanted to meet up with me, that's where I'm going to be. Until next time, y'all, make good decisions, because those good decisions form your actions. Those actions, they form your habits. Those habits, they form your values. Those values form an ethos to be the guide star through the rough waters of life. Oh, one last thing. I will be in Tacoma, Washington, the third week of April. I fly out on the 17th, leave on the 24th for Seattle Fashion Week. And then, oh my gosh, May is going to be busy. Middle of May, I'm going to Miami to compete in Mr. Supranational USA. If I win that, I will be going to Poland in June to compete for Mr. Supranational Worldwide. I will be going to coming back here to Honolulu Fashion Week, May 23rd. And then the last week of May, I believe I have a trip for a skincare deal in Manila in the Philippines. So they're keeping me busy. This is going to be a real fun ride. Cheers. Much love, y'all. Come in for the hug. Shoots.